Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to this meeting of the Sacramento Transportation Authority and SAVSA. Madam Clerk, can you please do roll call?
Yes. Directors Campion, Carr, Fox, Frost, here. Garrett, Gatewood, Aguirre, here. Hanson, Howe, here. Hume, here. Kennedy, here. Natoli, Peters, here. Chenier, very much here. Advis, here. Sewin, here. And Jeff Harris.
Here.
Thank you. You have a quorum.
Renee, I think you said Fox and I missed it. I'm present.
Thank you, sir.
Very good. Well, Director Fox, would you lead us in the pledge then?
Punishment? Absolute pleasure. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
And Madam Clerk, do you have any announcements to read?
Yes. This meeting of the Sacramento Transportation Authority is cablecast live on Metro Cable 14, the local government affairs channel on the Comcast Consolidated Communications and AT&T U-verse cable systems. This meeting is closed caption and webcast at www.metrocable.tv. Today's meeting will replay January 17th at 2 p.m. and Monday at June 18th at 2 p.m. on Channel 14. Members of the audience wishing to address the board may sign up in the back on the speaker slip and bring it to the clerk. Please speak into the microphone when addressing the board and state your name for the record.
Very good. Thank you. Next up, item number 1, I do have one speaker slip for a topic not on the agenda. Mr. Tardaguia.
Good afternoon, STA Board. I'm commenting here because the fact that with the Folsom projects this afternoon, I unfortunately will be unable to attend that because the Memorial Auditorium is also having an open house. And so I think that's something to give a priority to of an old historic building as it's upgraded and changed. Actually, nothing to do with the STA, but I'm hoping that there is a great deal of better accountability and seeing more of a budget and better outreach to the public is always appreciated. I caught this afternoon on the Comcast to realize that this was meeting. Your agenda actually was posted on there so you could read it. It was a little low, but could figure it out.
Thank you very much. Okay, next item would be the Executive Director's Report.
Good afternoon. Just a few comments regarding the Executive Director's Report. In February, we amended the current year fiscal year budget to incorporate more up-to-date figures. And so that was just 2 months ago, or 3 months ago. And we revised the Measure A revenues up by $1.6 million to $122 million. And so far this year, we are on track to meet that. In fact, we're slightly ahead of schedule on that, so that's very good news for us. Development impact fees and interest revenues are also coming in much better than expected. And administrative expenditures are down again, and we're continuing to hold the line on spending. So if you'd like more information regarding that, that's on agenda item 4 in the attachment. Now, we've been bringing a lot of bond-related items to your board the past few months, but I'm pleased to report that all of the board-approved transactions have now been successfully completed. So far as our bond program goes, I think we're set for quite a while. And I do believe that given what we had to work with, we're doing well. Our program is very solid. We just reaffirmed our AA+ credit rating. Our outstanding bonds are very well received in the market, and we've just been able to lock in terms that are very favorable in terms of being able to put out more money towards capital projects. So I am looking forward to not bringing you a bond-related item for at least 9 to 12 months. Regarding the Neighborhood Shuttle Program, last month your board authorized me to amend the $12 million grant agreement with Regional Transit for the Neighborhood Shuttle program, and we were able to do that to build in more flexibility to possibly adopt new routes or reconfigure existing routes. And we were able to execute that about 2 weeks ago. And then RT recently expanded their Citrus Heights microtransit Smart Ride route to include Orangevale and Antelope, and extend service all the way to the historic Folsom Light Rail Station. And that's the first of the microtransit projects that our neighborhood shuttle program is funding. And last night, Electrify, oh, I'm sorry, that's something else, but what RT had noticed was that rides were bunching up around 7 a.m. and 7 p.m., which was an indicator that there was built-up demand before the service started, and there was demand for service after service ended. So what they did was they expanded service from 6 a.m. to 9 p.m. And rides have continued to increase every single week. Now, the next shuttle route that's going to launch is in the Franklin Boulevard corridor in South Sacramento. And last night, Electrify America made a big announcement. And one of the parts of that announcement was that Electrify America will provide funding to replace 3 of the shuttle buses in the Franklin corridor with zero-emission electric vehicles. So that's very good news. And they plan to launch that on July 30th. Member Carr suggested at the last meeting that I reach out to SMUD regarding ways to outreach to the affected communities there. And so it just so happens that that I mentioned that at our last Independent Taxpayer Oversight Committee meeting, and one of our ITAC members, Beth Tincher, just happens to work for SMUD, and so she put me in touch with their Community Relations Department, and we've made contact. And so they've agreed to graciously help us with that effort. And so that's just a snapshot of Neighborhood Shuttle, but I'll be asking RT staff to provide a full detailed report at the August 9th meeting. Regarding Senate Bill 1, I have excellent news. On May 16th, the CTC awarded over $150 million in projects to Sacramento County, including $20 million for the Southeast Connector, $5 million for the downtown Sacramento Grid 3.0 implementation, $110 million for US 50, and $15 million for I-5 HOV lanes. Now, you recall that at this last meeting, I expressed a lot of concern that CTC might not actually award that much money to Sacramento County, but that's exactly what they did, and the vote was actually unanimous. So congratulations all around. That's good news. All right. There was a lot of effort by a lot of people, so especially with SACOG and with the local agency staff, so congratulations to all. We do need to keep our fingers crossed for just a little bit longer, because if we do want California residents to see all the good things that SB1 is doing so that they don't vote to repeal SB1 in November. So that's something to keep an eye out for. Finally, just a few housekeeping items. In the dais before you are 2 new items. The first is this item marked revised, and that is simply that is the contract for the County of Sacramento for capital projects, and it's item 5 on your consent calendar. The only change is we added a few recitals at the suggestion of legal counsel to confirm the status of the allocation contracts, and all the other terms and conditions are the same. The other item is related to agenda item 8, and I'll talk about that when we get there. Finally, just one more. There's a reminder that we do not meet in the month of July due to board and council recesses. So our next STA board meeting will be August 9th. And that concludes the Executive Director's report.
Thank you, Norm. That's really good news. Any comments from directors? Director Kennedy.
Thank you. I'll go back to the Franklin shuttle and the outreach. So you said that SMUD's going to help with outreach?
Yes, so Member Carr suggested last week that he had mentioned that he thinks SMUD has some excellent, they've done excellent outreach to the affected communities, especially the non-English speaking ones. And so he had brainstormed with me a little bit, and he suggested that I reach out to SMUD and see what they do. And so we made contact.
Because I know that there's some concern down on Franklin Boulevard as to how to get the word out, how to advertise. I mean, we don't have bus stops with free signage and all of that. So do we have any ideas beyond that?
No, but I'll report those back to you
Okay.
at a future meeting.
Thank you. Anybody else? I have one comment, Norm. On SB1, of course, that's, excuse me, it's of great concern to many people for many reasons. How is it going to be advertised what good projects are being completed with SB1?
Well, the Self-Help Counties Coalition, of which we're a member of, they've been putting together little information flyers and brochures. And what I'll do is when I get back to the office, I'll start forwarding those to you. But we'll start packaging those and putting those on our website and find different ways of distributing that. And then I've been trying to reach out to local news outlets to talk about what SB1 is doing in terms of projects and how it's impacting the local transportation network. So
I would encourage the directors to use whatever means you can to get the word out about these projects that SB1 is supporting, because this is a pretty big deal. You know, if SB1 is repealed, many projects are going to flag, and in fact, a lot of money coming to SDA would be lost as well.
that's correct.
Important. So, okay, thanks for your report. Next item, please.
Mr. Chair.
Oh, we got two more. Director Natoli.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Just very briefly, I wanted to thank Norm and SDA staff for their work with the City of Ileton. I know this body certainly over the years has had an update, and actually they got the final disbursement of the 1988 Measure A funds. Money hasn't been held in escrow all that length of time, but certainly there's need of a rehabilitation of some of the streets and roads in the City of Ileton, and due to some factors that were the responsibility of the city, STA had held those funds for a better part of at least 5 years, if not longer, and they accumulated to the number that you see there in our director's report. But I want to thank Norm and certainly staff for working with them. I know it's been a long journey. It's taken certainly the city a good deal of time to get the proper information, and I know the county executive's office actually got involved a few years ago, and nonetheless, you completed it on your watch, and so thank you, Norm, and hopefully we put to good use. I trust it will be, and it sounds like they're going to get some work done this summer. So.
Thank you. That's when we actually kind of reached that final agreement and sent out the check. There was a lot of high-fiving around our office. So it's maybe in the big picture, it's not a whole lot of money to all the agencies here, but to the City of Ileton, it's quite a bit of money.
Right.
And in fact, just this last week, we issued another check to them for a little bit under $2,000 for accrued interest on the account that they've been collecting for many years, and it was just paid out. So we sent that off to them as well.
Yeah, there's a good deal of deferred maintenance there, so I trust I'll get some of that backlog cleared. So thanks a lot.
Thank you, Director Natoli. Director Peters.
Norm, I wanted to ask you, again, I didn't quite understand what you said about the brochures and handouts that are being printed. Who's putting those together?
It's the Self-Help Counties Coalition.
Okay. If they're putting brochures together, or handouts together, do they have a plan to distribute them?
They're still actually working on them because they don't have them all completed for the different districts. But that's part of our monthly meetings with the transportation committees to talk about how we would do that.
Okay. Well, you only mentioned putting it on websites, et cetera, which I think that's important. But
no, I
handing
definitely
out
think
sounds
there's more.
like. Is there a plan to get construction companies that might benefit from the work and other people to hand it out? Do you know anything about that?
I don't, not yet.
When you get that information from the Self-Help Counties organization, I'd appreciate if you could send it to us.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Director Peters. Good comment. Okay, Madam Clerk, next item, please.
Your next item are your consent items. Your consent matters, items 3 through 5 are in order for your approval.
I'll move consent.
Second.
Moved by Director Howell, second by Director Hume. Any comment? Seeing none, all those in favor of consent? Aye. Opposed? Abstentions? Consent passes. Next item.
Your next item is your Independent Taxpayer Oversight Committee update.
Good afternoon. My name's Joan Baruki. I'm chair of your Independent Taxpayer Oversight Committee. And we have been busy, and I know we've been remiss in not coming to the board. And I believe the last time we were here was in December. But we've been busy reviewing various financial documents and preparing for the next item, which is the RFP for the financial audits. We have also been reviewing the, in preparation for the upcoming capital project cycle, we've also been meeting with all the different jurisdictions that have projects and are interested in having those extensions until we get to the full next cycle. And so we have been meeting with the City of Sacramento, the County of Sacramento, and Caltrans as well in preparation for that. And I think you'll see some of our recommendations in the documents that the staff has prepared for you today. We've also been reviewing the capital project status reports that have been coming in on the existing projects. I think we're in a pretty good place with those reports, with those quarterly reports so far. Not to say that they can't always be tweaked. We will also be using those to help us improve upon the adopted performance measures. As some of you are probably aware, there is a requirement for the ITOC to make happen a performance audit of STA and the projects. And so we've been reviewing the performance measures that were adopted quite some time ago to see if they need updating and do they really address what it is that ITOC and you would be interested in seeing as far as performance measures. We'll be bringing revised performance measures and possibly the RFP for the performance measures audit to you this fall for your review and approval as well. I would also like to invite you to attend anytime you want. Come to an ITOC committee and join us. We usually have very lively discussions and very interesting topics that come up at our meetings. So you're always welcome.
Thank you, Joan. Any comments? I have one. You know, you're lacking a member on the ITOC, and I've been working with Norm. I think I found 2 qualified candidates. So my appointee, I hope, will be forthcoming.
Yes,
and fill
excellent.
out the ITOC.
Yeah, that's very good. We do appreciate having Robert there as a voting member now.
Yeah.
He brings a lot to the table for us, so that was a very good addition.
Absolutely. Well, thank you for your work on all of that, Joan. Much appreciated. Next item.
Your next.
Go ahead.
Are you finished? Oh. Your next item is the selection of independent financial compliance auditors.
The Independent Taxpayer Oversight Committee, this is probably one of the big items that we're responsible for. And we worked with the staff this year. We went out with an RFP. As you are probably aware, you cannot have the same auditor for 3 audits in a row, so we had to make sure that we went out with new audit requirements, and we got a healthy response. We received at least 7 responses to the RFP. We reviewed those. We had actually 2 that just stood out. And based on interviews with the candidates and looking at their backgrounds and their references, we are recommending Crow Horvath for your approval and to have them come in and start work as soon as possible.
Great.
I'll move the recommendation.
Second.
We have a motion from Director Peters, second from Director Howell. Nobody's punched up for discussion. All those in favor? Aye. Opposed? Abstention? We'll select Crow Horvath.
Thank you.
Thank you, Joan.
Your next item is your Senate Bill 1 Local Partnership Program Formula Shares Distribution, and it's round 2.
Item 8 is a discussion item that the board asked for last December when we programmed the first round of the local partnership program. Since not all of you were here, so what I would like to do is step back and provide kind of the background for the program and how we got to where we are today. So SB1, which we call which is Senate Bill 1, which is also known as the Road Repair and Accountability Act of 2017, was signed by Governor Brown back at the end of April last year. Now, SB1 generates about $5.4 billion statewide, and that's distributed among 12 different programs. And so some of the programs, include state highways, bridges and culverts, transit, intercity rail, freight rail, local streets and roads, and workforce development. So there's a variety of those. But one of those programs in particular directly impacts the STA, and that program is called the Local Partnership Program, which is LPP. So the LPP it's a $200 million a year program. It is intended specifically to reward counties that have taxed themselves to improve their own transportation systems. So since since we have Measure A here in Sacramento County, we are a self-help county, and so we're entitled to a portion of the LPP pot, along with 23 other self-help counties in California. So the agencies that administer the local transportation sales tax measures, the CTC has also given us the authority to program those funds within our county. So that's why that's why it comes to our board, and that's why we see it. So the LPP, the Local Partnership Program, this is where it gets complicated, is further divided into halves. So it's a $200 million program. Half of it, $100 million of it, is devoted to the the competitive grant program. So in that program, any local agency is able to nominate projects. They go into a statewide pool, and then they compete against all the other projects that are nominated by self-help counties. So that's half of the program. The other half of the program is also $100 million, and that is distributed by a formula of population and relative sales tax that's generated. And so that amount comes to STA, and we're able to program that however we see fit. But it has to be towards capital expenditures, infrastructure expenditures. So your board programmed the first cycle last December, and it was a very, very accelerated process. You'll recall that, well, you might recall, but CTC issued the formula shares in mid-October last year, and they required that the complete application package be due the first week of December. And so that only gave us about 5 weeks to get that all done. And so in that 5 weeks, we held several meetings with RT, the county, and city staffs all together, and to work out the distribution. Now, the end result was we did not come to an agreement at the staff level, and the recommendation that I forwarded to your board was a brokered compromise that basically no one was happy with, but which no one was against either. So at that time, your board did adopt the staff recommendation, but at the same time, you had asked for it to come back to your board for a broader discussion before the next round. So, and the discussion would be how much of our discretionary funding do we allocate to transit and how much do we devote to roads? And so I had originally penned that in for the August 9th board meeting to have the board start that discussion. Unfortunately, CTC has thrown a monkey wrench into those plans. They announced just last week that they are accelerating round 2 of the formula shares program by 5 months. And now the competitive applications are due to CTC in August instead of December. So today we're introducing the discussion regarding transit and road funding percentages. Yesterday, CTC released the draft formula shares early, and so in your board packets, I had included a table that looks like this. And in that original table, I had estimated that our formula share this time around would be $3.5 million. As it turns out, our formula share is actually going to be $3.04 million. And so in your revised table, and the one that's shown on the screen is the most current numbers that we have. And what I tried to do in Table 1 was to provide the board a number of different funding scenarios for you to consider. Last time we had talked about 34.5% for transit, 30% for transit, and so I put together some different alternatives for you so you could see exactly how that would break out. So what I'm asking for today is the board's direction on how to divide up that $3.304 million between RT and the county and the cities. After we have that information, then the local agencies will be able to put together a spending plan on specific projects on how they want to spend their fund, how they put their money together. I would bring that back to the board August 9th so that we can complete the application packet and turn that in to CTC by August. So as I wrap up, I'd like to share with you just 3 thoughts that I have about this entire process. The first is that in terms of transportation improvements, $3.3 million is not a whole lot of money, especially when we have to divide it among 9 agencies. Point number 2, or thought number 2, is that if SB1 is repealed this November, everything that we're talking about today and everything that we're doing will be moot. Thought number 3 is, but if SB1 does stick around, $3.3 million over the course of time is a lot of money. And so what you're talking about today and the possible steps that you'll be taking are important. So I'll leave you with those thoughts as I turn it over to the board for discussion. Thank you.
Thank you, Norm. I just want to make a comment at the outset before we get into discussion. As Norm said, it's not a big amount of money for any given project. Almost any project that any of us think of could swallow $3.5 million in a heartbeat. So, I've been thinking about this a lot over the last week about how to get the highest and best use out of this number. So I'll hold those comments until last. But Norm, if SB1 is upheld, this will be annual money. Right? And once we allocate it, can we change the allocation at a later date, or once we do it, it's done?
This cycle will come around. If SB1 stays around, we'll have to make this decision every single year.
Every year?
Yes, every year.
That's an important piece because, what we say now and give direction to staff to come up with a proposal to vote on at the next meeting, it's not set in stone, so this is something that we would have control of moving forward, assuming SB1 is upheld. Okay, we'll start with Director Soon.
Thank you, Chair. First, Norm, I want to commend you guys for one. You're under the gun again. Great, we got to do it this end of last year, and you're doing it again this year. I appreciate you guys working so hard. And then, 2, your accuracy in predictions is pretty darn good. I think you predicted pretty well last time as well. As far as the breakdown, you made some good points. We'll probably be resetting again, and over time, will matter more than just this initial period. For the city of Elk Grove right now, we have our own transit agency, and so Measure A, the breakdown, I think that's a great place to start with. But it also breaks down, that includes operations, as I understand. And so what I'm proposing, or and at least for a conversation right now, is that any breakdown we do as it pertains to transit, that we keep it for capital cost as the LPP is intended. So that would allow us to achieve our fair share of funding that could go towards our transit programs, and then all of your communities will also receive a little bit more. Things may change over time. Who knows what happens in transit agencies? But I think in this initial go around, I would ask that we consider how we break it down if we're going to use whether it's Measure A, Measure B, but that we keep it a capital breakdown as the LPP grant is intended.
Can you say that last line?
Yeah,
again?
say it again. I didn't hear what you said.
So right now, as I understand it, if you break it down just by roads and transit, there's at least in Measure A, there's operations included in that breakdown as well as trans. I think 3% is only capital, and another 34% for Measure A. The breakdown includes operations. What I'm proposing is that when we do this breakdown, that it's all as the LPP is intended. Those guidelines are intended for capital, so we break that out. And I think our staff forwarded you, Norm, a breakdown of that, which the way it would look like is there'd be a little less money going to RT. So approximately, based on the 3.5 million estimate, approximately 630,000 would go to RT instead of 875 off the top, and then all the communities would achieve a little bit more. Citrus Heights would get about 20,000 more. So there's, again, it's small numbers right now, but again, we're talking about over time. And
Carol, are you looking at the revised one?
I'm looking at both. So
I'm not following.
If I can, let me put a little finer point on this for Darren. For our city staff put together a table that's essentially the same table that we're looking at, only it adds an additional column, which is the Measure A capital formula.
Right.
18% transit, 82% roads, because local partnership program funds cannot be used for operational expenses.
That's correct. So just for clarity, Elk Grove staff did put together a different table than what you have, and so that's what Tim has just put up on the screen right now. So you have not seen this. This was just sent to. This is just among the Elk Grove council members.
Well, so what I want to highlight is every community here gets a little bit more. So essentially, I should have started broader, and I'm sorry, I apologize. I went into the greater detail first. Essentially, a little more of the regional transit money off the top, that gets reapplied to all our communities. So everybody's amounts go up a little bit because regional transit gets the first cut off the top, right? So what we're saying is but a lot of that money, or a portion of that money is operations, which the LPP is not intended for. It's intended for capital only, which means the regional transit money off the top, that's shaved off the top, is slightly less, meaning all the other communities would get a little bit more. And why it would be important for Elk Grove for now is because we're not part of RT, and that's another conversation, but we're not part of RT. But the additional monies that we would get, we could then reapply as we wanted, whether it was capital or, as I understand, we could apply to our own transit program, a BRT program, that kind of thing. So again, it's just for more equitable breakdown at this time. And that's what I'm proposing. So this is what you see: 82 and 18%, because it's a strictly capital. It's strictly capital, doesn't include operations. Does that make more sense to
it
folks?
Does.
Okay.
To me, anyway.
Okay.
I don't know if it makes more sense. I understand what you're saying, though.
You say you want to turn the whole program into a capital program?
I'm saying just the breakdown. The LPP is intended as a capital only program. And
Would you concur with that, Norm?
If I could provide some clarifying thoughts on that. So the Measure A formula right now says that RT gets 34.5% off the top for operations and maintenance, not for capital. So what Member Soon is saying is that we should not consider what RT gets in terms of operation percentages. We should consider what RT gets in terms of capital percentages. So within our capital program, they get closer to 18% instead of 34.5%.
And the assertion that the LPP money should only be used for capital, is that correct?
That is correct.
Okay. That the LPP money should only be directed towards capital projects.
It's
That's
not
the
should.
guidelines.
It is. It
Yeah.
is. It is.
So we're just being consistent with that.
Okay.
I just have a clarifying question,
Go ahead, Jay.
if I can. Well, I'm down the line. But
No, go ahead and ask
it
your
doesn't
question
mean,
now.
I mean, if you look at, first of all, I think it's a lot more than just a little bit off RT. If you look at the 34.5 versus 18, it's 1.1 million down to 630,000. So it's pretty significant.
Yeah.
But I guess my question is, there's nothing that says these funds can't be used by RT for capital projects, right? Like anyone else. I mean, we have plenty of capital needs.
Yeah.
Okay.
Our challenge, Director Schneer, is we're not part of RT today. That's our only challenge.
Okay.
I know RT's response to that.
Yeah.
Well, they're working on it.
I understand. Yeah.
So understand your point. Let's move along. Director Gatewood.
Rancho Cordova would like to look for a lower value if we could, and more towards the roads. Currently, right now, transit isn't as critical we have a lot of roads that need fixing. In more of the smaller cities, Citrus Heights, we would look for more of it to go towards our roads and less of it to go towards transit. So we're looking for that kind of recommendation. So around the 20, and heck, if the 18 works for us too. Either way works. We would really need that because we have a lot of road construction. Our roads are really starting to break down, especially Sunrise and Folsom Boulevard. If you have, it's a good pothole area. So we're looking for that.
Very good. Director Natoli.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I want to get a clarification before I offer some comments. Why is Galt so low and Ileton getting 5 times as much or almost 6 times as much as Galt?
Ileton and Galt are both unique in the Measure A formula.
Right.
In the formula, the city of Ileton only gets 0.04%,
right,
and the city of Galt only gets 1%. And so when I had originally done that, using those percentages, the dollar amounts were almost nothing. So what I did instead was I put them into the same formula as everyone else, using their population and their road miles.
Okay, but how does Galt show up being 5 times less than Ileton?
Oh, you know what? That's not my table.
Well, it's the one I got.
Oh, it is. Okay. I goofed. I think those are transposed.
Okay.
Those are transposed.
Okay.
I'm sorry.
All right. So the columns reflecting our amounts that should be for Galt and Ileton were just reversed there.
Yes, they're just
okay,
reversed.
Thanks.
I'm sorry.
Okay. Thank you. I guess I wanted to just, certainly having heard from some of the directors, but Norm, I wanted to be really clear on this point. So the reason why we qualify for a local partnership program participation is because we have a Measure A.
That's correct.
So that's the adopted measure via the voters that obviously we, as members of this body, are able to exercise discretion within the bounds of whatever funding sources come to us. But that measure then is, and the split that's in the 34.5, 65.5 transit roads, that's when we apply for the program, that's what gets us in to the running, right? I mean, because we have Measure A adopted, that's what takes us to the table.
That's correct.
Then, to the points being made by Director Soon and others, you can look at how that was parsed out within the framework of a particular funding category under the LPP. But if we didn't have a Measure A, we wouldn't even be talking about this to begin with, right?
That's correct.
Okay. I also want to be clear then, so the Measure B formula, as you said, that was a brokered approach where, again, we had the conversation here a few months ago that, again, no one expressed happiness with, but obviously it was, was settled on. Could you just remind me then what the rationale was behind that, at least from your take, the 30/70 versus something that was more or less?
So in the first round, as it turns out, RT got 18%, and the remainder went to roads. So it's not reflected in this chart at all. And the reason for that is because when we did that process, I approached it not as looking at certain percentages.
Okay.
What I did was, because the LPP has strict guidelines on
capital,
on project readiness, and the ability to spend funds within a very, very short amount of time, I took the approach, let's see what projects that we have that are ready to go within Sacramento County, and see where we go from there. So it was not a percentage-driven approach. It was more, let's see what's best for the county. And then, so at our first meeting, RT came forward and said that they had $1 million worth of projects that they could do right away. And so that was the first agreement that the group came to was $1 million, and then the remainder would be split.
Okay.
Subsequently, RT identified more capital needs that they could do immediately, and so they raised their request to $2.8 million, which they subsequently lowered to $2.3 million. So in the process of us meeting and talking and working out different scenarios, we came to $1.3 million as kind of a compromise.
Okay.
Yeah.
So this, and maybe it's just the nature of recurring numbers. So when you did the initial project readiness, you said it was at 18%, 82% that mirrors what Elk Grove has submitted? That wasn't
purely by coincidence. Purely by coincidence.
Interesting. Okay. I guess last question I have, and maybe just a quick comment. So we have the authority to introduce and exercise any of these formulas and something even different than this, as long as it goes into capital projects under this particular funding round. Is that right?
That's correct, and not operations or maintenance. I mean, not operations. That's
okay.
Correct.
All right. I guess the last comment, Mr. Chair, I just would make that certainly it's I find interesting proposal by City of Elk Grove, and we may have other comments into record as well. I guess I would just take it back, though, that the reason we get in this program to begin with is that we have a Measure A, and again, that was voter approved, and we now have discretion under this particular funding round to do something else, as Mr. Holm just stated. I think going from 34.5 to 18 is a pretty dramatic, and again, recognize the amount of money is only $3.3 million, but it's $3.3 million, and I guess I want to, and I'm interested we'll have more conversation about that as to maybe what that magic number is for this funding round, but I find it interesting. Thanks.
Thank you, Director Natoli. Director Guerra.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I think Director Natoli made some of the arguments I was going to make, that clearly we wouldn't be here as a Health County if it wasn't for Measure A on the November ballot. And I do agree that with this particularly small number of money, and also the insecurity of whether it's going to be here or not after the November election, that focusing on capital improvements might be the best approach. And likewise, I mean, I think Regional Transit, they've got a number of capital improvements that they would like to see. My concern would be also, I mean, we passed Measure A on a November ballot for a particular reason, because the likelihood is that those who are going to be voting and supporting for infrastructure investments are going to come out on a November election. I would hate for us to repeat some of what happened even with Measure B, where you have a group of folks who feel that they're not going to support any type of infrastructure or additional investment to begin with on the natural, and then you have folks who are big supporters of transit as well, who opposed Measure B because there wasn't significant amount of money. And those folks, while they may not show up on a primary election, will be there on a November election. And so I would hate to see that we have the squeeze on both ends. Frankly, I think we need to do more on the transit side, for a number of reasons, to meet a number of goals that we're trying to accomplish at the regional level. But I think I'll go back to the whole point. I think that we're here because of Measure A, and if there's an easier formula to follow through without being arbitrary, it's to use that formula that got us here in the first place.
Thank you. Director Hume.
Thank you, Chair. Norm, in this table that the City of Elk Grove staff put together, that we have up, the Measure A capital formula, where do they pull that breakdown from? Is there a distinction within our Measure A formulas for capital only?
There is. So within the larger Measure A pot, about 20.75% of it is devoted to capital expenditures. So within that 20.75%, 3.75% is for transit. And so I think what Elk Grove staff did was they took that 3.75% and expanded it over the entire program.
And extrapolated it out to 100% of the whole.
Right, to get
funds.
18%.
Okay, so to Tolling Director Guerra's point, the fact that we're receiving this money because Measure A exists, there is within Measure A a provision for how capital dollars are allocated, and all we've done here is extrapolated that out to if it were applied to the whole program and not just 20.7%.
That's correct.
Okay, and then remind me, because it's been a while since we've discussed this, but there are other tranches of money within SB1 funding that are only eligible for transit, correct?
That is correct. In fact, I have another graphic that I could put on the screen. So this is SB1 breakdown, and as you can see, and this is kind of a simplified view because there are some other small programs that are in there that I didn't want to show on the graph to avoid confusion. But basically, about 14% of it is for transit only. 28% is for street and road maintenance only. 34% is for highways only. Now, there are some other programs that you'll see up there with asterisks. Those can go either way. Those can go transit or roads. And so that does include the local partnership program. It's up to the STA to decide how they want to split that up.
As long as it's capital only.
Yes, within the LP.
So then to do the same thing, if we were to extrapolate just the transit and streets and roads portion of this, then it would be about 40% transit and 60% roads. If you just take the transit and roads percentages and extrapolate them up to a full percent, because obviously none of our local jurisdictions are responsible for highways or bridges. Is that, am I kind of getting, so in other words, transit gets a good chunk off the top, and then road, so it's split much more evenly than, say, the
I see what you're
percentages.
saying. Okay.
Right?
Yeah. So you're saying that if the entire pot were only streets and roads and transit, the percentages would be like that. Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Well, bridges or something.
Bridges do exist in some, you're right. I knew
They certainly do in Folsom.
As soon as I said that, I realized it was incorrect.
Although, but let me clarify, that the bridges part of that is only for state-owned bridges.
Yeah.
Okay. So.
Okay, so there, I was right, doggone it. I should have stood my ground.
7%.
Anyway, I guess my point is that as I appreciate the point of the Measure A formula being existing, and that's why we're at the table, but we do have the capital portion within that. So, look, I'm not going to die on this hill because it's $600,000 to RT, but it's about $10,000 to $30,000 per jurisdiction. But the idea that every time we go through this, transit gets a piece off the top, and then they get another piece of the next piece that's left, and then they get another piece. It's like every plate that comes through the kitchen door, transit takes a little bite. And so I just, at some point, we've got to commit to repairing our roads and repairing our physical infrastructure. So.
Pat, I'm sorry. I missed that. My apologies. Where are the second and third and fourth bites coming from on this? I get the piece off the top, but where's transit taking money out of it afterwards?
So transit obviously it's the green 14%, but now we're saying they get 34.5% of the pink local partnership program.
Right. I mean, they're different pots of money, right?
But what Pat's saying is that every time, his analogy is actually a good one. RT gets a bite every time it goes through.
Okay. All right.
All right. You good, Pat?
Yeah, thank you.
Okay. Director Frost.
I think Director Hume might have made a good portion of some of my comments, but what I wanted to also refer to was with the Measure A, it's the same. I mean, the way the public feels, what the public perception is that 70% of Measure A is going to roads and 30% or so is going to regional transit. But at the end of the day, the amount that actually goes to road repair, which is what a person is seeing when they drive up to their driveway and see spider, potholes and roads falling apart, that's what they don't understand, is why aren't our roads getting fixed? Because that's what they're looking at every day. They don't see the bridges and the highways and the transit in some of the areas of our county. And so I also, so my thought, I'm not going to die on it on the vine either. I feel that the public sentiment at the time of Measure B was to put more money toward fixing the roads. And so that seems to be the most current, and the sentiment that I'm getting in my district is we would like to see our roads fixed, so capital improvement on roads, fixing roads, or promoting capital improvement that could augment getting some of these projects for rooftops off the ground, where we're stuck with transportation and finance plans that we can't pull together because we're asking builders to pay more than their fair share up front, and they're not able to do it, and we're going back and forth. So if there was any of those ready, boy, wouldn't that be great, because at the same time we're using these dollars, we're promoting, increased property tax revenues to each of our areas. And so I would be inclined to go for, and not because RT is not, I think RT is actually on the right track. They're doing some good things in the outlying areas, and they're actually improving connectivity and convenience and service. So we're on the right track with RT, but at the end of the day, the pie chart that I have, like for the Measure A here, it shows at the end of the day, road maintenance and repair gets less than RT all day long. And so I think if we could balance, I don't know if you have that.
I do.
If we can find a way to balance that out a little bit, to just focus on getting, that's what SB1 was supposed to be. And I also think that what is shovel ready is most important, because there is a sense of urgency if it gets repealed. And so at the end of the day, someone should get it instead of us grappling over what are we going to do in our little areas. So those are my comments. And I don't know if you can show this, if everyone's seen this or not, but
if I could just clarify what Members Frost is saying, is that we tend to think of Measure A as 34.5% for regional transit, and the remainder is for roads. But that's actually not how it works. So it's 34.5% for regional transit, which is a subvention, which means 34.5% comes into SA, and we immediately ship it off to RT. But the remainder is not all roads, because within that remainder is air quality, bike and ped,
rail transit, capital improvements, neighborhood shuttle, downtown intermodal, bike and pedestrian, American River Parkway, air quality management district, admin, Galton, Isleton, freeways, paratransit, freeway bus and carpool lanes, traffic control, new road construction. Very small percent of new road construction.
Right. So the remainder of what's left of 34.5% actually goes into all of those things, not just roads.
I like it.
So I think if we put more toward fixing roads, it's in the spirit of what SB1 was stated to be.
Thank you, Director Frost. Director Fox.
I'm going to have to agree, because I know I've said this ad nauseum, I'm sure, but those transit roads that we have, Sunrise, Auburn, Sylvan, north-south, and then east-west, Madison, Greenback, Antelope, those are all, the majority of the traffic of those are not our locals. Those are getting from your locations to their locations. And we have a tremendous amount of project opportunity that's in front of us, some that we have been able to start, but we need the transit funds in order to even come up with the matching dollars necessary on some of our projects to get them going. Sunrise is a big one right now, and it's, we're doing it part by part, but still there's that part of Sunrise that needs to be done that joins up with Rancho Cordova. Madison from Folsom to Sac County on the west, we need to keep considering those. So the transit dollars are important, I agree, and RT, the way it's working in Citrus Heights, is absolutely phenomenal. I just heard yesterday, I think it was, that they have up to 200 riders per hour now in this adjusted open format over a few of the time spans. But the 75 or 65% roads, we need to stay with that, and we need to, as much as possible, increase that if we can, because particularly for us, it's necessary to get where we need to be, just to service everything that comes through our community.
Thank you. Director Howell.
I appreciate the comments that are being made about Measure A passing and what the percentages were, but I just want to remind everybody that was actually quite some time ago. And this board, coming up, well, I guess it's 2 years ago now, fought for 3 hours, if I remember correctly, to get to the 30/70. So I'm not willing to go below 70% on the roadway portion. And I think it's a double-sided coin. I think Sue's suggestion that people didn't vote for it because there wasn't enough in roads, again, we're speculating all day long about what caused us to fall below the 2/3 threshold on Measure B, because depending upon who you talk to, if you talk to the people that are out in the suburbs, they're going to tell you it's because they didn't vote for it because there wasn't enough money for roads. And if you talk to the people downtown or the people that use transit, they're going to tell you that there wasn't enough money for transit. So I'm not sure that's anything other than individuals' perspectives and speculating on where that is. But I'm just telling you, I'm not willing to go below 70% on the roads.
Okay, very good. Director Chenier.
Thank you. We don't know why we lost. We have lots of good ideas. We lost by just a little bit, and to be honest,
2,500 swing votes.
Yeah, it was political, right? I mean, the needs across the board far exceed $3 million here, so we can all make the case. And I would hope at some point, and sooner rather than later, we figure out a better way to do this, because it's not based on, it's all arbitrary as far as I'm concerned. And I don't agree. Disagree. Yeah, and we agree more than we don't. And we'll be out in Folsom tonight, right?
We're looking forward to welcoming you.
I appreciate that. So I'm also not willing to die on the hill on this one. I mean, I don't think it's because it's such a small amount of money. I'm happy if we stick at 70/30, and that makes sense to me. I know RT has done, and I appreciate some of the comments. RT has done a wonderful job turning themselves around, and they're doing good work.
Absolutely.
And they are accountable. And it will be the third year in a row now that we've had a balanced budget without having to go into reserves to fund ourselves. So I want to give a lot of credit to Henry and to his entire staff. They've done a great job, and trying to think ahead of the curve here in doing the shuttles in some of the neighborhoods, and working with Folsom, and working, I believe, with Rancho, and working with Elk Grove. I think we're going to get there where we have an actual system that will work for the region, rather than all of the pieces of the puzzle that don't quite connect these days.
I agree with all of that, and hope the ridership numbers skyrocket when the extended hours take place in Folsom this weekend.
So I hope for all of it. I'm looking forward to helping today to kick that off. My request, Norm, is that we try to schedule a conversation among the board about allocations without an allocation need in front of us, right? So how can we have that policy discussion and try to come up with something?
I don't think we have time.
Not about this. Not about. I'm sorry.
No, and it may well happen in the context of whether we do.
Actually, what I said on this, if we do 70/30, I'm fine. If we do, if we get close to that, it's fine. I'm not going to. However we get to, but I think before we start talking about 2020 and another Measure A, we need to have that discussion so we don't get into that. Part of it, I think the listening campaign that Patrick and Susan and I are helping with, hopefully all of your help will be good. We're going to get to item number 9. We need to do a lot of that work so we don't get to a point where we're making a political decision. We need to make a policy decision on this with good backing that we can all support. So I'm happy, I'm happy to move a 70/30 and just make a motion, put it on the table and see.
It's a discussion.
It's a discussion. We're not doing this tonight.
That's correct.
Well, but I'm not sure it is.
Staff is asking you for direction,
Right.
but I don't think you're going to get direction from, I think you need a vote.
Okay, second.
So I'm happy to go 70/30 roads and understanding that fixing the roads helps transit, and putting money into transit takes pressure off the roads. I mean, we should be honest about that as well. So I will move I will make a motion to provide direction to staff to go with a 70/30
Second.
amount.
Okay, Director Kennedy?
Yeah, she has a second. We still have other speakers.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You just call
Director Kennedy.
Oh, I thought I was.
I'm on top of it. I can do it.
Yeah, I agree with Director Chenier. One of the things that, Sacramento County is not unique in that some areas are served by more transit than others. Of course, if we increase funding dramatically, we could change that, but that's another topic. It's what I just wanted to state that when I hear statements like, roads are what the public sees. Not all the public. Quite a bit of the public, and quite a bit of the public in South Sacramento, who don't have the ability to even own a car. Transit is what the public sees. So I just want to, make that statement that we all benefit from transit, whether we see it every day or not.
Thank you, Director Peters.
Thank you. I think it's an interesting discussion today. I'd ask you to read the article in the Wall Street Journal today that is entitled "Pothole Vigilantes Fill the Streets Plugging Gaps Left by City Workers," and it's all over the country, people from planting flowers in potholes to organizing community groups to go buy quick-dry asphalt at Home Depot and taking back their streets. I mean, that's how desperate the situation is for potholes. So I would be happy to support the 70/30 motion, even though, and also say that I think regional transit is really seems to be turning itself around, and I appreciate the work that the executive director is doing in that area. But to set, my feeling is a precedent down on this, that's where we need to be. And read the article.
Thank you.
Thank you, Director Peters. Director, soon you punched up again.
Thank you, Chair. I brought this up, but I do want to just clarify that, I am for transit. The City of Elk Grove is for transit as well. I wanted to just, right now, today, again, the way that I just want to look for something equitable, but today, we won't see that money coming to us because we're not part of RT. We have, who knows what happens in the future. Conversations are happening. But my personal feeling is we need both. We need roads, we need transit, especially in Elk Grove where we can't widen the freeways. But in order for me to do that, I don't have, the way this formula is set up, it goes to RT, it doesn't come to the City of Elk Grove. So I was looking for something that was equitable, but also consistent with the LPP program, which is a capital-only program. Having said all that, I'm not going to die on the sword either on this, but I did want to bring that up, that we need both. We need roads, we need transit. I appreciate Director Chenier's words. I think a more robust conversation about this is definitely appropriate. We've talked about before, but we look forward to getting that in motion sooner than later. Thank you.
I'm glad nobody's dying over this. That's good. Four or five, so they're not dying today. So that's good.
The hill. I'm willing to die on the sword. If I can have just a little
Norm,
bit
do you
of
have
money.
any extra swords available?
I don't carry those
Rancho
around.
will die for $100,000 more.
Okay, I'd like to make a couple of comments, and then we did get a late slip for someone from the community who'd like to speak. Transit is helping all of us. The microtransit project is really robust, and I think that RT is being very adventurous to try it, but it's also working well. And I'm glad about that because, history is repeating itself here. We talk about this stuff incessantly. Since I've been on this board, the topic of discussion has been roads versus transit right from the get-go. It was especially bad around Measure B. So we've had another philosophical discussion about roads versus transit. Again, this is a very small amount of money, and it may or may not materialize, and we can adjust this moving forward. A lot of good comments were made about shovel-ready projects. We do need roads for microtransit too, and that's another thing to put out there. But on the other hand, a good capital project for RT is to use zero-emission vehicles for microtransit in the county. So you can slice and dice this any way you want to. I particularly would go with the regular Measure A formula of 65-35, but it's not a big deal at this point. We have a motion and a second. We'll have Jeffrey Tartagia make his comments, and then we'll go ahead and take a vote.
Jeff, this last week, SACOG introduced big concepts about land use, and also the fact that basically gas tax is unless you figure it out because of going for zero emission and electrification, that you're having to figure out new ways of generating revenue for either the roads, public transportation, anything, because gas pack, in a sense, is very likely to disappear. Here you are, which in one way I wish that was kind of like the $1 million that you finally discovered, and now you're using it partly from the mobile of Measure A money. Question mark is, I know that there are various jurisdictions that are also wanting to revise, bring back a regional tax. And it seems to me like a question might be, as a capital per se project, is you look at examining that real true need. Yolo County just did one that identified capital projects. I think Placer is working on this simultaneously. So my public comment here is guys, please don't be so short-sighted with thinking this or the other when you've got less than a decade right now to figure this out for funding sources for all of these areas. It would seem to me likely that it might be a smart idea of the Sacramento Transit Authority is figure out the approaches to get to that next series of wanting of when, hopefully, we keep the SB1 money here coming in for the next 10 years, but figuring out the best way to come up of getting everyone that drives to understand the critical need for infrastructure. And that is partly transit, but also what we are doing, that most of the people, that all they're doing is driving, they don't understand and know what's going on and happening. And I don't think any of them, should we say, understand that basic picture that we don't want to turn into Los Angeles. We are having where so much more from the Bay Area is coming here. That's impacting our housing. Also is impacting every other thing, because unless you're approving rail service, how in the world are you going to get people? That means they're going to be back on the streets unless we're going to do the other type of public transportation systems that work throughout the region. So what I'm thinking is you're making this motion, but I'm thinking you should really consider about future. Right now, starting out at that,
Jeffrey,
like the Civics
can
Club.
You wrap it up?
Yeah, I see. Like the Civics, group that SACOG did 1 year, and what the results have been of really considering for this amount, what would be more effective in getting this started.
Okay, thank you very much. I'd like to move the meeting along. We're running kind of late, so let's go ahead and take the vote on this. So this is direction to Norm to come back. And once again, I want to stress that you can look at this a lot of different ways. In essence, transit and roads are inextricably associated with each other. And it's not one or the other. At least I certainly don't see it that way. This relative percentage is, in a way, a moot point here, but let's go ahead and vote. All those in favor of Jay's motion? Aye. Aye. Opposed? Abstentions?
Aye.
You have your direction.
Thank you.
Next item, Madam Clerk.
Your next item is a request for proposals, public outreach and education.
This item is to request your authorization to release a request for proposals for public education and outreach, and to form a subcommittee of the board to review the proposals, select a consultant, and help direct the consultant's work. The proposed RFP would be divided into two parts, and price proposals or bids would be asked for each part separately. The first part is strictly for public education. regarding STA and Measure A, which would commence immediately. The second part would follow after the listening tour, and only if the STA declares its intent to put another transportation sales tax measure on the board. That part of the RFP would be for community outreach about unfunded transportation needs, about improvements that would be accomplished under a new measure, plus some opinion research and the putting together of an expenditure plan. Even though the RFP is divided into two parts, we would evaluate the proposals based on their entire approach to a comprehensive work plan for education outreach. So with your approval, the RFP will be released today. The rest of the schedule is that the subcommittee would meet in the latter half of August to review and rank the proposals and interview the consultants. And then the subcommittee would make a recommendation to the board, and then the board would consider that recommendation on September 13th. With that, I'd be happy to answer any questions.
Okay, we have one member of the community, Joanne Fuller. Would you like to make your comments on item 9?
I'm Joanne Fuller. Thank you, Chair and STA board members. I attend this meeting as a volunteer from 350 Sacramento, the local climate change group. And we've been monitoring many of the transportation meetings as part of a kind of loose coalition of a number of groups in Sacramento County who are really concerned about transportation here and wanting to be effective advocates. Sometimes as a member of the public, it's hard to get to the right number on the agenda when I turn in my speaker's slip, and perhaps our larger comments would be more appropriate for the discussion that you just had, but as you say, you're going to be talking about this for a long time. We have a lot of active members, and we would be very pleased to be part of the outreach and engagement section as you folks go forward talking about this. In terms of the discussion you just had, we're very concerned that Sacramento County be forward-looking, and as part of the education, we would look to some of the trends in terms of young people not buying cars, people my age not needing to drive or needing to have alternatives to drive. The fact that in this county we are the 5th worst air pollution recipients in the whole country, and of course climate change. So we'll be here at these meetings and meeting with folks and really hope to be part of the discussion and outreach. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Fuller, and thank you for coming and expressing your opinions. Okay, before we get started, I would like to appoint a subcommittee to help go through the RFP proposals and make a final selection. I'd like Jay and Patrick and Susan and myself, if you're willing, to go over the proposals, assuming that we direct Norm to go ahead and release the RFP. We have a speaker, Ms. Director Chenier.
Great. I'll try to be brief on this. Norm, I want to say thank you. I know that we've talked about this for a while, but coming forward with it, we know that one of the largest mistakes we made the last time around was waiting. And so this really gets us off to a good start. This is also complementary to the listening campaign that's going on that, again, Patrick and Susan and I are working on, that's being funded by the city and the county jointly. And we've talked about that at this dais before as well. So I think this is a really good piece. I'd like to be just in the experience required, if we could be just a little bit more specific, to require experience in developing transportation educational outreach efforts, because I think transportation is a lot different than a lot of the other things that people do. So limiting with and hoping that people have done it in this region before. That wouldn't be a requirement, but I think that gets you bonus points. With that, I'm happy to, this is an action item we need to move, so I'm happy to move the item with that direction as well.
Second.
Very good. Thank you, Director Chenier. Great comment. Director Frost.
I'd just like to make a couple of comments. I don't see myself supporting this, and the reason, number one, I'm still not convinced. I've been through this a couple times on this board over the years. I'm not convinced this is an appropriate use of taxpayer dollars. I'm also not sure I understand why we would want to redo our logo and website and start all over when just in, I think it was 2015, we went through all this. We allocated over 600,000 initially, and then another 500,000, and we've spent a lot of money to put signs on the road, and we're beginning to establish this sense of, oh yeah, that's our Measure A dollars. You can see the signs when you're driving by. To go out and change all that seems like it's counterproductive, and I'm not sure I understand the proposal, and I think it's a little bit premature right now. Public sentiment right now is anti-tax, and so I'm not able to support this at this time.
Okay, thank you, Director Frost. Do we have any more directors who'd like to comment? So we have a motion and a second. All those in favor? Aye. Opposed?
No.
Director Frost opposes. Abstentions? None others? Then that one carries. And we're on to the budget, item 10.
Item 10 is your fiscal year 2018-2019 STA final budget.
Good afternoon, members of the board. The recommendation is to continue the public hearing from May 10th, receive this presentation, and then close the public hearing and adopt the attached budget resolution. This budget document represents the second year of a multi-year effort to provide the board and stakeholders with more information about the authority and the programs it administers in a user-friendly format. It also endeavors to meet GFOA's Distinguished Budget Presentation Award program criteria. The financial tables introduced in May have not changed materially. However, it was brought to my attention after the board packet went out last week that the state allocation amount for the FSP program was overstated by about $500,000. Therefore, I made the appropriate corrections so that the final copy that we post to the authority's website reflects the change. I've also brought hard copies with me that are corrected. If anyone would like to have them, they can see me afterwards. Notable changes to this year's budget are as follows. The authority established fund balance reserves for economic uncertainties in the amount of $1 million for the capital improvement program and $100,000 for the administration fund. GFOA recommends a minimum of 2 months of revenue or expenditures, whichever is more stable, which is the revenue for the authority. In using these guidelines, the target amount should be $1 to $2 million for the capital improvement program and $160,000 to $200,000 for the administration fund. Therefore, this is the beginning of a multi-year effort to fully establish the recommended fund balance reserves. So staff will be coming back next year with additional proposal to increase those reserves. You'll notice that the fiscal policies section has been significantly expanded. It now includes a description of the authority's fund structure, its financial planning practices, as well as debt and investment policies. This section begins on page 37. A new section for the capital improvement program, including a list of projects approved by voters in 2004, which is on pages 78 through 80, a summary of projects funded by Measure A in the budget year, which is on pages 81 through 84, and a 3-year cash flow plan, which is found on page 86, to pay for the projects planned during the coming 3 years. Number 4, a year-by-year summary of sales tax revenue for the life of the program, which includes actual audit amounts through June of 2017 and forecast amounts for the remainder of the program, which is on page 50. And then using this summary, which was updated in March of 18, sales tax revenues are expected to be $4.71 billion as compared to $4.74 billion estimated in the voter-approved expenditure plan. So we are on track in terms of revenue. A similar summary of the Sacramento Countywide Transportation Mitigation Fee Program revenues can be found on page 51. However, unlike sales tax revenue, SCTMFP revenues are expected to be less than half of what was estimated in the voter-approved expenditure plan. The estimates are $215 million versus $488 million, respectively. Since the SCTMFP revenue is forecast in-house and has proven to be volatile, authority staff will likely work with financial consultants to develop forecasts in the coming year. A new table summarizing the SCTMFP revenues and expenditures for the capital improvement program can be found on page 61. This information, combined with what was presented in May, summarizes the major changes between last year's and this year's budgets. Please let me know if you have any questions that need to be addressed or if there are any suggested changes for next year's budget. That's my presentation.
Thank you, Tim.
Yep.
I appreciate it. Director Peters has a question.
Yeah, thank you. I am looking at the line for SAVSA, the Abandoned Vehicle Service Authority, and I don't know if other jurisdictions are having as tough a problem as we are in the county, but we increased our budget for abandoned vehicles in our recent budget hearings, and I don't know, is there a formula that comes up with this amount, or how do you, I noticed that it was higher in 16-17, went down in 17-18, came up a little bit in this budget, but not quite to where it was 3 years ago. So is there some formula that could help explain this?
Yeah, so it's all driven by vehicle registrations, certain vehicle registrations within the county. So it's
certain vehicle. What does certain vehicles mean?
Well, that means that not all vehicle registration fees, which there's a dollar fee that's added to some vehicle registrations, not all are included, and I think it could be, is it motorhomes or
So,
some
for
other?
example, non-operative vehicles, they don't pay the dollar fee, but commercial vehicles pay $2, and so it varies a lot. Part of what we do is we track different factors. And the biggest one is scrap metal prices. There's an inverse relationship between scrap metal prices and abatements, actually. So as scrap metal prices go up, abatements go down, and vice versa. And so every year we play with it a little bit, and we come up with an estimate. And we've been pretty much on the last few years.
Okay, it's just the nature of it going up a couple years ago, then down, was curious for me. And I don't know, is that something, if we wanted to, I'm not suggesting we do at this moment in this budget, that we could add additional funds to out of some other fund?
This is a special revenue fund, and under GAP guidelines, it needs to, this program receives revenue from this dollar tax or fee, I should say, and that fee money is designed to serve the program. And
Well, I understand that fee money I understood what you said, but I don't know what you call a general fund or anything. Do you have more discretionary funds if we wanted to add this? I mean, if you were to query all the jurisdictions and see what their situation is it possible?
It's possible. We do not have any other discretionary funds.
You don't have any special what?
Other discretionary funds that we could add to the abandoned vehicles.
Okay, I think since the homeless problem has gotten so bad, we have a lot of abandoned RVs, and they're really a mess. And we're having to kick money in from various departments to
RVs
vehicles.
are a particularly difficult problem as far as abandoned vehicles, because to abate them costs significantly more than
the worth.
than vehicle. Yes, exactly.
Right.
And
I understand why. It just that means we have to pay them more.
Yes.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. I understand your problem. Unfortunately, it's all jurisdictions are plagued with the RV problem, but we do not have. I cannot think of any discretionary funds that we could apply towards additional funds that we could apply towards abandoned vehicle abatement.
Well, what about the fact that we have so few abatements, as an example, in Folsom? Is that,
We've talked about that a few times. So in the state code, there is a formula for how it's distributed, and so there are certain jurisdictions, especially the city of Sacramento and the county of Sacramento, that spend a lot more on vehicle abatement than they get reimbursed for. other jurisdictions, such as Galt and Elk Grove, and to a certain extent Folsom, don't have quite the need for it, and they don't spend the money quite as quickly as the other agencies do. But the formula is already established in the government code, so I'm not sure how we could deviate from that.
It seems kind of silly in the case of Folsom that, because we don't have an RV abatement issue at all that I'm aware of, and we've got quite a bit of money in that fund, and it rarely gets used in Folsom.
Well, actually, so in terms of the city of Folsom, the city of Folsom is not carrying a balance.
Okay.
On the abandoned vehicle abatement fees. Galt and Elk Grove are, but not the city of Folsom.
Okay.
Okay, any other comments, questions?
I just have one other editorial comment. On page 79 of the bound document, the city of Folsom's project is listed as Folsom Bridge Crossing. It's actually Folsom Lake Crossing, and we won't even talk about what it really should have been named, but you could just fix that.
Okay. Very good. Well, I'll entertain a motion to continue the public hearing, close the public hearing, and then take a vote on accepting the budget.
So moved.
So moved. Second.
Okay, did you catch that? I think Director Natoli moved and Director Howell second, or did you beat her?
Okay.
Either way.
Lightning round.
I'll take it.
Okay, there is no public comment, so all those in favor of adopting the budget? Aye. Opposed? Abstentions? Excellent. Item number 10 passes, and the last item on our agenda today is comments from authority members, and I don't see any.
I just look forward to seeing any of you that are going to come to the little celebration in Folsom for the extended operating hours of RT/Flag Day.
That's pretty exciting. It's a good deal. All right, thank you very much, everybody. We're adjourned.